wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building. Friend to the room, Larry Morrow. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you for having me. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How's everything with you?
Everything's good, man. Just working.
I got to say thank you first because for people that don't know, I have a 21-year-old son. Mm-hmm. He plays football for University of Miami, and he was down for Super Bowl, and he wanted to go out. And, you know, Super Bowl is very expensive. Cardi B was going to Larry's spot, and he was like, yo, I want to go. Do you know anybody? I'm like, I might know somebody.
Yeah.
I called Larry, and Larry gets him in, and Larry took care of him, had bottles for him.
Yeah.
He was like, Dad, I got to pay? I'm like, I'm not paying for that. So Larry took care of him. So thank you.
What's up.
Thank you so much.
Man. He had a great time. He was out later than me most nights.
Yeah.
That 21-year-old energy.
Yeah.
Now, Larry, a good brother, man. When I landed in New Orleans, and literally everybody and their mama was like, you got to go to one of Larry's spots. You got to go to one of Larry's spots. You got to go to one of Larry's spots. And guess what? Larry opening up another spot.
Another spot.
Another one,
right.
Larry.
Spicy mango.
Spicy mango, yep.
Yep.
A New Orleans Caribbean fusion. So
Tell us about it.
So Spicy Mango, it's a new spot I'm opening up right there in it's called Frenchman Street. Mm-hmm. So Frenchman is like it's like bourbon but more local live music versus strip clubs and bars. It's like live music restaurants. And we were opening right at the forefront of it. So big new concept I'm opening up, New Orleans Caribbean fusion. Giving like different vibes, you know, it'd be like one-on-one in New Orleans. You know, we have Caribbean spots, but we don't have that fusion to where you can get like that Tulum vibe. You know, real upbeat, good food, you know, good vibes.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I noticed about your restaurants, because I've been to all of them, you treated me very nice, me and my team, very great Super Bowl weekend, is that your ambiance is always lit. It's always like you're out of town somewhere, you know. But I want to know this. Where's your accent?
My accent?
Like you from New Orleans?
Yeah. Nah,
why you don't sound like everybody else, baby?
A lot of people say I sound like I'm from New Orleans. A lot of people say I don't.
Yeah, you
but
don't.
I travel a lot. So, I mean, since, you know, my early 20s, you know, 19, 20 years old, I travel a lot. I would come to New York. A lot of people tell me I sound like I'm from New York, but a lot of my friends are from New York, like a lot of my good friends. So, I don't know, man.
know. You just don't sound like one of them down there. You don't sound like one of them. Yeah.
You know, this is a stupid question because, you know, there's 20, 30 restaurants that exist in a city at one time. Do you ever feel like you're competing against yourself?
No, I think because they're all different concepts and different vibes. Like if you want like more of a New Orleans Southern cuisine, you go to Morrow's. If you want an Asian fusion, you go to Sun Chung. You want a steakhouse vibe, different ambiance.
Morrow Steakhouse is amazing.
Yeah, total different vibe. You go to Morrow Steak, but if you want like more brunch, outdoor type of vibe, you go to Monday.
That's my favorite one
Monday's
now.
a totally different, you know, spot than all of them. So when people ask me which one I like the best, it's kind of hard to say because they're all different.
Mm-hmm.
So it all offer different vibes. So if they were more similar, maybe I can say which one I like the best. But, you know, it depends on what I want.
Which one are you at the most?
At one point, I was at Monday the most because that's where the office, you know, is. But right now, I'm at Spicy Mango. I'm at Morrow's because we just, you know, last year we bought the building and we're renovating. So we upstairs had Airbnbs, gutted it, made it a kitchen, bar, dining, private dining. So the expansion, we went from holding 85 people to holding maybe, you know, close to 200.
Will you have real Jamaicans in there sucking their teeth at you when people come in right before they're about to close?
No, we got a lot of people. So it's actually our one of our head chefs, you know, she's Jamaican. So yeah, we definitely gonna have the real authentic Caribbean vibes and fusion.
Now, also, you know, you do this with your mom and your grandmother.
Yes.
So break that down. How was working with your mom and your grandma? Because sometimes family business is not the best thing in the world.
Man, working with your mother.
And I love your mom and grandma. I love them to death. They always come out the kitchen, show love, say, you know, hello. So I love them.
Man, it's crazy because working with my mom is definitely early on. She had to like it was, you know, we'll meet up at work and she'll still think I'm her son, but mom, your business partner. So it was a total different experience because we had to learn to work with each other. You know, we never worked with each other in that capacity. So it was challenging. You know, it was times where we were just, you know, it was tough for us to get along just because we're, you know, mom and son and, you know, partners and stuff. So it was tough. And me and my grandma, you know, I opened up that spot and I named it after her. It was like my me, paying homage to just her journey, just everything she's done, coming from Korea to America and building that, that foundation for us to build on. It was kind of me giving her flowers while she can still smell them. So that's where Sun Chung come from. And, I opened that up. And, it's been cool. Of course, she wants things to be the way that she envisioned. And sometimes, it's not really the way that you can operate a business that does as much volume as we do.
Mm-hmm.
More like a mom and pop, yeah, you can. But, we're more of like,
high functioning.
yeah, more of like a corporate setup now. Like have HR, have marketing directors, just the whole team. Close to 500 employees.
Mm-hmm.
You got some nice studs working in Mondays too. I wanted to say that they came out the kitchen to see me. Some good studs. They some nice, handsome, and pretty still. Because
That's why you like to go to Mondays all the time.
yeah,
Charlotte.
I haven't been to Mondays yet.
Yo, Mondays, look, the
But I love studs, so I'm
popping.
going.
They gonna come out the
Studs is
kitchen like, you like your food? I was like, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's funny.
So why they don't have like stud muffins? That'd be dope.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
That's
On the
funny.
menu.
They, listen, when they hear this, they're gonna be.
yes, I love
First of all, the
that.
studs already love Jess. Jess is a
You
stud
already
magnet.
know I'm a stud magnet. Yeah.
When you and your mom bump heads, like how do you shift it from business to personal? Like 'cause, you bump heads, but then you still got to go back to being your mom's son.
Well, so of course it would affect personal, but it was more so when we first started to partner up because we had to figure out how to operate with each other. She wanted her way, I wanted it my way, and unfortunately, you can't have it both ways. Sometimes, sometimes you gotta really decide on which way we're going. So it's just us just learning, and but it did affect personal at times because if we're not talking at work, we're not talking, at home, or it may affect our personal. And it's a challenge, but you got to be patient and you got to just really learn how to operate with, with family, in amongst of just operating a business.
Was the Super Bowl weekend everything you thought it was gonna be?
Yeah, man, Super Bowl was, my whole thing was to just when I produce events, it's not just about making money. It's about showing up for the New Orleans as a whole, and just when people come to New Orleans, like as y'all know, I like to show that Southern hospitality. So I wanted to roll it out and get it popping. So that's what I did. We had Travis Scott, Cardi B, Meek, Gilly Wallow, Glorilla. What was Glorilla?
50.
Lotto,
Sexy,
50.
You have Sexy
50
Red
ended up
too?
not showing up because he had some happy he didn't come in town. Sexy Red,
Yeah.
Sexy Red.
Kai Sinat, and everybody was there.
Yep.
It was crazy. So,
All at different spots. So I saw the party.
yeah,
Okay,
so I had 3 different venues. I owned a spot called Hide and Seek, which is a club, a spot called Treehouse, which is a club, and I rented out this venue called Empire. There's some good friends of my own, Alonzo and Joey. So I did that, and the whole goal was to just really, last time we had an opportunity like this was All-Star in 2017. So when something like this happens, I feel like it's a time to not just make money, but to really just have a great time and show everybody how we do it in New Orleans.
Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, during COVID, a lot of restaurants at first did bad, and then they picked back up. But then when the world opened back up, a lot of restaurants closed. We seen it with P.F. Chang's; they had problems, and Applebee's, TGI Fridays, Red Lobster, even.
Yeah.
So how is the restaurant business as far as you, and how are you sustaining?
Well, it was one of those things where COVID kind of slowed everybody down, and me coming out of COVID, I was so motivated to do something, figure it out, because I felt like it slowed everything down that I was doing. So I opened up Treehouse in 2021, Memorial Weekend, and everybody wanted to be outside. So I'm making the most money I ever made. And so I got a taste for I had Morrow's open, I opened up Treehouse, and I got a taste for it. I'm like, I'm making this fast money. I wanted to reinvest it. So a lot of spots that were calling about to rent, they weren't available. But at one point, everybody started calling me. And during COVID, man, I committed to 5 locations, because I opened up after Treehouse, opened up 5 more locations. And it kind of really just made me level up. I was just, COVID made everybody feel like they had to do something, do more. And so, now for Spicy Mango, I'm finally getting to a point where we're about to open up due to just me not really understanding the industry and how much time and money it takes. But it was a grind, and I'm glad I did it. It taught me a lot. But, to commit to so much and not really have a full understanding of what's all required, it's like you're really rolling the dice. So I'm blessed to just be at this point now where we're about to open up, and this is a 7 location, and we've been blessed to see a lot of success in the industry.
What's the ultimate goal for you?
Ultimate goal is, of course, is to inspire the next generation of Black, restaurateurs, Black hospitality, because in this industry, it's not many people that look like us that I can go to and get advice from. I have a lot of friends who I talk to, have great successful businesses, and that's been great mentors to me, but it's not many people that I can talk to. So I think definitely inspiring the next generation of Black culinary, Black hospitality, but also, growing something that, like just something for my family. It's bigger than just the money. It's the legacy. It's about building something that, can take care of me and my family, not just this generation, but the next one,
Somebody said to me, I forgot who I was talking to. They was like, yeah, we might connect with Morrow's, the franchise. And I'm like, I don't know if I would want that. Yeah,
I'm not franchising.
Yeah, I'm like, why would you leave New Orleans?
No, no. So I'm not franchising, right? I got a lot of people who call about franchising, or just even companies that want to invest into what we're doing, the hospitality group. But right now, it's like, we're doubling down. Actually, I had a conversation yesterday with a good friend who invested into a lot of different ventures and extremely successful. And he was just like, man, it's time to start it's time to start raising money, right? You're doing extremely well, but imagine how bigger you can get if you do. So I'm conflicted on what we're going to do, but the goal is to become one of the largest Black hospitality groups in the country, and not limited to. We just want to be able to inspire people through what we're doing. I never knew I was going to be in this industry, but to be in it and to do something with my moms, to have my family involved, it's a feeling like it's indescribable.
Is Atlanta and Houston next?
Houston.
Hey.
Houston for sure.
I see where you spend the most time. You spend the most time.
Yeah,
in
I've been living
Atlanta.
in Houston for like 3.5 years. I got some homies out there who've kind of been a tremendous help, like A-Life. Those some guys in the industry, hospitality industry that I really admire and respect what they do. Because they've done it even prior to me getting into it. I will see what they're doing, and that's one of the people that I can say that Junior Martin and Big J that I was really inspired by. Somebody who looked like me.
Is the food gonna taste the same though in Houston?
It is. I'm like, I'll be there. My mom will be there, and it's a 45-minute flight, right? We're real. It's all about just the structure that you have, like the chefs and just the systems that you have. So, I'm anal about everything, man. So I'm making sure that we're on point with that.
How was doing Tamarind with your mom?
Oh man, Tamarind with my mom was that was dope, man. Because we did it Tuesday. We came out here for that. And it was a different experience because you grew up, you watching these talk shows and to be on one, and they got the door that open in the audience, and you walk out and everybody just screaming and stuff. It was pretty cool. Yeah. Totally different experience.
When do you get rest, yo? Because you got restaurants in the day, you got all these businesses, and then at night you still do your events. Like, where do you even get rest?
So. Like, I'm so used to it. So just say if I get in at 1, 2 a.m. or even later, I use the next day to really rest. I got to catch up on my rest because I'm really, like, if I get in late, I still got to wake up early, right? I still wake up, I go to the gym. I like to follow the same regimen. And I think, that consistency has really helped me just, not just in my morning routine, but in my day-to-day life, really helped me, get to where I'm at, So, I rest whenever,
Whenever you can.
Yeah, whenever I get in, like some days I go in early and I just rest, and some days I get in late. So, but I could never just get a full night's rest. Of course, if I'm coming in late, I still gotta get up early.
To add on what Jess said, you also got a child.
Yes, a 5-year-old.
So you got a 5-year-old. Wow.
Man, it's
girl,
amazing.
boy,
yeah. Girl,
a girl. Yeah. So she demands daddy's time too, and
yeah.
it's crazy. It's
The other
very
day,
stretched.
She told me, she said, "Daddy, you taking me and mommy on a date?" She be looking forward to the dates, So. Yeah, it's a full-time job, but you just figuring it out. Like, I don't have it all figured out. Every day is a new day, and I'm just trying to figure out how to balance it. But I make it work. Got to. I have no other choice.
That's right.
I
Yep.
want to talk with your employees. How difficult it is with dealing with different personalities.
Oh man, I think that's the most difficult challenge. But
and when you have to let somebody go, do you do it or does your human resource department do it?
Human resources. Like, at one point, when we were a lot smaller, I would do it, but I realized I had to remove myself from a lot of that just because, I can't be the person hiring and firing. At this point, my team they hire, and they fire as well. But it's tough dealing with a bunch of different personalities. But I think we have a great team. I love it. It's like one big family. So it's not. I wouldn't say it's the toughest because a lot of people who work with us, I've been knowing for a long time, and even though we've known each other for a long time, we don't let that affect how we operate. So,
Gotcha.
It's cool, man. I love it.
All right.
When is Spicy Mango opening?
So Spicy Mango is about 30 to 45 days out. So
Nice.
sometime next month in May, we'll be opening soft. Won't really do a grand opening probably into June or closer to Essence. So we're gonna take our time, just to kind of ease into it. Not really like broadcast it that we're open, but just open soft and get the kinks out, just so that when we do fully open, we're prepared.
Yeah.
All right.
And Larry, you always are a very, you're the consummate businessman, always so professional. What happened with you and the food reviewer?
Man, I can't believe you asked me that.
What happened?
Well, there was a video of Larry interacting with a food reviewer, and the food reviewer tried to take his phone. He tried to take your phone.
Man, I don't remember what happened.
I don't know what happened. I just know Larry ended up throwing hands.
No.
Larry, you down and dirty, yo?
Man, damn. but nah.
You know what? Our producers are assholes. Now I get it. That's why they was playing the Rocky Day as he was walking in.
Oh, wow.
Nah. It honestly, man, just being a black man and successful, young, in a city where, like New Orleans, I think in any city, you just run into issues at times. Like I'm outside like more than 99% of the people, and when you are, things happen. You know what I mean? But
You need security though, Larry.
Yeah.
I see you floating around the city by yourself. You need a buffer.
I have security, but
okay.
it's like I like to be alone a lot of times. That's the issue. I like to be alone a lot of times. So people don't know I'm like this introvert, extrovert, to where I've been around so many people for so long that I enjoy being alone.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what I've morphed into over the years, just because of it's so much in this industry. But man, I just learned like just sometimes things happen, and it's never no hard feelings. But at the end of the day, when it comes to anything that is mine, I'ma definitely protect it, by any means. So just sometimes unfortunate situations happen, and it ain't never intentional, but it just happened.
And it's interesting to hear you say that you've been living in Houston the last few years, because I thought you were still living in New
but
Orleans.
I'm never really there.
Gotcha.
I'm never really there just because once I committed, I moved out there during Ida, and that's when a storm hit New Orleans in 2021. The first year that everything really opened up, and I thought I was gonna be able to be out there more. But when that happened, when I committed to all these restaurants, like I couldn't go to Houston and spend all the time I wanted out there because I didn't know that it was gonna require all this time and energy. And so, I ended up just keeping it just so I won't get so comfortable in New Orleans and decide not to take that next step, So, because I'm really looking forward to that next step and that next chapter to where we expand. And I think, I've done a great job of just doing what we're doing in New Orleans, but now it's time to just really spread those wings.
All right. Well, we appreciate you for joining us. If
Hold
you're
on,
in New
one thing.
Orleans,
Because people in the comments were saying that you needed to get out of New Orleans because the hate is so real for successful people. Do you feel that way?
Man, yeah. And my OG told me he had a conversation yesterday, right? Kanan, right? And he was just saying that, like, being a black man, it ain't easy, man. Just no matter where you are, just being successful and black wherever you are is different because, like, I had a conversation with a friend of mine as well. He looked different than me, successful, extremely wealthy. And I explained to him, I said, you don't have the same problems that I have. And I may not have the same problems you have, but, being black and successful in any city, especially a smaller city where it's not it's as big as in New York, right? I mean, you can sometimes be a target or just stand out. So, it's tough, but, that's just what come with it. It's not something, it made me realize that years and years ago, I used to, I become more protective about what's mine and not so open about everything, So because you start to just realize that, man, it just ain't the best just for everybody to know everything about what you got going on, what's happening. I'm already outside a lot, just because I'm got my businesses and stuff. So, it's tough, but, it is what it is. It come with it.
Somebody got to do it.
Somebody got to do it.
That's right.
all right. Well, if you're in New Orleans, definitely tell them the lineup of all the restaurants.
So come to New Orleans, check out Morrow's Monday, Sun Chung, Morrow Steak, Spicy Mango is opening up in about 30 to 45 days. A New Orleans Caribbean fusion. And of course, you got to come to Treehouse. You got to come to Treehouse. You got to come to Hide and Seek. You know, so far 7 locations. We'll maybe open up more soon. Just really depend on a few different things. But yeah, definitely plan on moving to Houston.
I love Morrow steak, man. What Jess said is true because it got the ambiance, but then it got just the dope ass Southern food. Like and then Larry set me and my wife up because it was our anniversary that weekend. We had a ball.
It's
Thank you very much, my brother.
I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
And if you want nightlife, that's one of the safest places to go to. You check out Treehouse on Mondays. Is like you said, you never know who's in there. I'd have been in the times where Nas was in the back cut in the corner chilling. I'd have been in the time where Fab was in there, cardio. It doesn't matter, but. Appreciate you for joining us, brother.
I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
It's Larry Morrow. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.